Good day everyone. I'm sorry I haven't uploaded last week and this is a short video. That's because I am under the weather and well, I've basically been lying in bed for almost 2 weeks, but I wanted to get this video to you guys. So this will be a shorter one and that's why I call it E03B. Because what we're going to do isn't all that exciting, but it needs to happen and it can be pretty cool. So when we have our different weapons now, it doesn't really matter, they behave exactly the same. We're going to change that by going into our weapon. So this is our parent blueprint. We created a child for the yellow one. And let's add some variables. Let's create fire type, which is part of a fire type. Let's add fire rate, which is a float, so it can have decimal points, and pulse amount, which will be an integer because you can't really shoot half the time. Let's set some standards for this, so 0.1 and pulse amount maybe 3. Doesn't really matter because we're going to change this, but this is how our weapon is going to behave. So basically that's all we need to do. All the logic is handled within our first person character blueprint. So let's implement these by removing the fire type here. And we can actually remove the variable as well now. If you've not removed it and you remove the variable, you will get a message like this one. It is in use. Do you really want to delete it? Just press no, because you can actually find the references and see all the times it gets used. So we can actually go off that for implementing this type. So let's get our fire type from the weapon reference. So we're basically going to check if it has, or if the weapon reference is valid. If it is, well, we're going to add a fire type. And I want to do one more thing. Back in our weapon, you can see this little category in your variable parameters. If you just set this to parameters, it will create a new category and we can just drag all of these in here. Why is that important or even useful? Well, if you go to BP weapon yellow, it might open up like this. This is the collapsed graph and you can just edit all the parameters. You can still click open full blueprint editor to get full access, but you'll notice that our parameters we just created aren't actually in here. It's because they are in the BP weapon yellow self. So if you click on here, we have a little thing called parameters now, and in here we can change all of them. So that's why categories are pretty great. Also, if you have a lot of variables, you can order them easily. A fully functional character will have a lot of variables. But let's continue implementing. So we're back at our input action fire. Let's go to fire semi, remove fire rate, get our weapon reference, and get the fire rate. Let's go to auto, remove our fire rate, get our weapon reference, and get the fire rate from there. Go back to our event graph. Lastly, on pulse, we can get the fire rate, and this one plugs in a custom macro, our for loop with delay, as well as the normal delay node. And our pulse amount will also be the weapon ref pulse amount. Oh, wrong one. Pulse amount. Just get the variable, which will be the last index. Alright, do we use them on any other places? I don't think so. So if we remove pulse amount, still in use. Let's find references. I can't actually find any references. Yes, just delete them, I guess. Compile them and everything seems to be fine. Alright, the last thing we need to do is, if we play now, we'll get a lot of errors where it will try to access our weapon reference, but our weapon reference isn't actually valid. So let's expand this a bit. Move all of this a bit more like this, and we can just add is valid node, and if it is valid, plug in the weapon reference. So only if it is valid, it will do this. So if we play now, we can't actually shoot because we don't have a reference. If we get our weapon, however, we do have a reference. Hold on. Switching fire type. Oh, we actually need to implement this one down here as well. Weapon reference, and only if it is valid, it will switch. Alright. No errors, that's good. So let's go into our BP weapon yellow and make this one an automatic weapon. Just so we can actually see a difference. So our normal weapon is a semi-automatic, and our yellow weapon is an automatic weapon. You might notice that when you're shooting automatically with this weapon, you get some sound bugs. You can fix that by creating a loop, which we will do at a later stage, but don't worry, it's not a bug in your code, it's the engine not being able to handle that many sounds so quickly after one another, because it has a limited number of audio sources, which of course is logical, but that means we can't simulate each and every sound individually at this kind of speed. Alright? So no worries. I'll see you all next week with a bit of a longer video. Bye bye.